What's up team? Here's 5 tips for a stronger bench. Okay, first things first, we want to create a replicable setup so that every time we bench, every time we get under the bar, we can set ourselves up the exact same way so that when it comes to actually performing a rep, we're in the same position each and every single time we lift. Now this doesn't go just for the bench press, this is for all main lifts. The better habits we can build, the more easily we can replicate them, and the more easily we can build strength and accumulate volume over time. As far as my setup is concerned, I take my head all the way to the back of the bench, I plant my feet in exactly the same position each and every time, and then I use the side of the rack to push myself up into position and then dig my traps into the bench. Every single time I do a set on the bench press, this is how I set myself up. From there, plenty of leg drive through my feet, hips are off the bench to unrack, before I let my hips settle on the bench, reposition my feet, and then I can start my set. I don't think I've ever posted a bench video on Instagram without having at least one person say, why are you arching your back? Or that arch looks so dangerous, why are you doing it? But in reality, the arch not only reduces range of motion, which is very important for a powerlifter trying to lift as much weight as possible, but it also puts your shoulder into a healthier position in order to move more weight. Now, your shoulder blades are designed to stop your elbow from going any further back than here. Now, as you can see from this position, if the bar is in my hand, that's still quite a long way away from my chest. So forcing it into this position, not really what we want to do. So by creating that arch, we can actually change the position of our shoulder joint to make it much more comfortable for our elbows to go down further and keep our shoulders nice and healthy. Now, when it comes to creating a nice healthy arch, we want to think about creating a nice proud chest and with our shoulders pulling them back and down. If we can maintain that position on the bench whilst bringing the bar down, not only are we going to reduce that range of motion as much as possible, but we're going to keep our shoulders in a fantastic position to stay healthy and keep bench pressing consistently over time. One of my favorite cues throughout the bench press is thinking about taking your chest towards the bar to try and accentuate that position of your shoulders being back and down and getting that range of motion between your chest and the bar as short as possible. Next one is leg drive. Ask any bro in the gym and the bench press is just a chest exercise. But when it comes to powerlifting, when it comes to strength training, when it comes to lifting more and more weight over time, the best way to do that is to put yourself in the strongest possible position. And we do that by incorporating leg drive into the bench press. The more stable we can be on the bench, the easier it's going to be to translate force through the bar. So when we're in our bench press setup, once we've slid underneath the bar, once we have our arch, we want to be thinking about keeping our toes pressed down into the floor and thinking about pushing our knees closer towards the floor, really driving our lower body into the ground. Last thing we're going to talk about is the bar path. Now, because we're going to be in an arched position, our chest is going to be essentially facing slightly backwards or towards our eyes. Which means as we bring the bar down, we want to think about pressing it back off our chest towards our eyes, as if we're trying to press the bar off our chest in an entirely perpendicular fashion. So the last thing that I'll leave you with is if you can treat every single rep that you ever do as a 1 rep max, you'll be able to treat any time you go for a weight that might be a 1 rep max like it's any other rep.